Right, so it's the 23rd of 7th, 2026. There's a few things I want to cover. I just get to this morning stuff because I've got quite serious stuff that I want to mention, even though it's only 11:30. Right, so the bike issue's been extremely bad. This is before I go out, because I'm going to do the next bit separate in the church because of the information content that I need to mention. There's been lots of helicopters and planes today in particular, but yeah, so the bike issue's been really bad, as I mentioned. This burning problem, or the sensation of cat claw scratch marks all over my body, which is painful and causing itchy feet and everything else, that's on the increase. The threats outside are on the increase. This is to knife me down, or to shoot me dead, or to basically smash me up and to put me in a wheelchair, or to break my arms and legs off because of sexuality. And also this Savenne threat of me being mistaken as Savenne is increasing outside. So yeah, I'm not very happy about that, because it's on sexuality, all this, and I've not had anyone in my whole life, that is. I've never had a girlfriend in my whole life. I've never had a nightstand. I've not had proper sex in my whole life. But there's nothing I can do about this issue of what's going on. So yeah, the next thing is going out. Right, so I've made it to a church. I've had to redo this recording, and since I've been out, it's just been persistent bike issue. Every time I get a thought of that 4-letter name that begins with E but has an L in it, they're just putting ear-shattering loud bikes at me, trying to itchy, tingling, whatever, or trying to get in an erection or whatever, and it's very, very irritating. Since I've been out, there's been about 300 young ladies under the age of 20 that are pushing a pushchair or have a baby in a sling. This is not fucking good news at all, because I'm 44 coming up 45 and I've not had sex in my whole life, and why you got this going on is literally going to be impossible for me to get anyone. No one's helping me. Considering there's 200 people that have viewed one of my videos that I put on Facebook. Obviously it doesn't tell you who's viewing it, because that's all private, but there's 200 views on one of the videos that I put on there, which is about, well, basically it says axe throwing just half a mile away. It's like a board, poster board or whatever. There's a Bridport, and I did 11 seconds filming of it to basically put on there. Yeah, I had someone moan about one of my posts as well. This is going back at home again. All I put is I'm single, I'm aged 44, and I've not had anyone in my whole life, and if anyone can help me, that person will be loved, and I'm not going to hurt that person, and I'm not going to cheat on that person. And basically said, all I am asking for is someone with a sexual, smooth appearance like everyone else is with, that's not a mother, and someone that's friendly. That's all I'm asking for. And just putting that has caused a bit of an argument, and saying, people are saying, what's wrong with people in your own age group? What's wrong with rougher skin, and what's wrong with single mothers? And I thought to myself, I've been abused as a child. All you lot out there have been with someone when they were a teenager and enjoyed sex. I'm being told to go with people older and uglier than those who sexually abused me as a child, and that's not going to solve the problem and compensate for what I've been through, is it? But, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. No one gives a shit. I just checked the time a minute, because I'm very short on time because of the bus. Yeah, so I'm not sure if I mentioned it on this recording, but when I think of that 4-letter name, loud bike, but there's always time to tingling or whatever, you know, erections. Right, the next thing I want to mention is I've had to put up with a load of vaping. I mean, it's only basically midday coming up. It hasn't been bad, I will admit that. It hasn't really been bad for suggestions or anything like that, but it's there, and at times it has had some really malicious stuff occur. there's a lot of stuff applying my father and stuff that's not suitable to be suggested, and is well far-fetched as well, and on grounds I'm not happy about. And there's no fucking need for that, and that's happening all the time now. That started happening going back about 2 months ago, something like that. This has always happened, this sort of suggestion, but they're just keeping to that one suggestion at the moment regarding my father, Mike, and the piss take that they're doing to, you know, in that sort of way. Now, obviously, earlier I did say that there's something very serious that I need to mention. It was mentioned in the conversation. Yeah, so what's happened is it was a conversation, and I just sort of walked slowly and then sort of stood around just to sort of pretend I was doing something, because I wanted to hear the full content of what was being said by these two people that passed me. These people were sort of in between rough and in between not rough. They're the sort of people that don't give me threats. It's hard to describe. They're oldish people, but what information came out was very interesting. Now, obviously, I've forgotten the organisation that they mentioned, whether it's the CIA, FBI, or military, or whatever. They did say something, but it just went out my fucking head. Basically, they're doing their nut, because this doesn't make sense, because all this force seems to be against me, but what these two people were saying seems to be different. They're saying that this specific young lady has turned against me, and saying, how cold can that bitch get? Why she'd do that and all that sort of stuff, but they didn't give any names, so I don't know who it is. And they just said, that's the biggest fuck up that's ever been made, and saying that it's going to be literally impossible to find me out. They're saying, and then they went in sort of conversation saying, that person that's turned on him, this is how serious it is. They said that person, when they're all out at work or whatever, that they're going to burn that person's house down for what she done or did to turn against me. But the information that they gave and the reason why was very vague. Now, there's quite a few people that I knew last year and the beginning of this year that have turned against me, so it could be any of those people. No names were given, but they said that they're doing their nut, and they're saying this person hasn't had a very good life. So this person knows that I haven't had a very good life either, these two people that were passing. This is not the regular sort of people you see. I'm not sure if they were actually British, but they're not people that hate me, but they're got between, not rough, but kind of serious, but it's a different type. It's the type of people that are normal and the type of people that don't give you trouble, but also they have strong information like I just mentioned. Obviously, if that occurs because that person turned against me and I found out whoever that person is that's turned against me, I wouldn't care if that happened, because obviously if it's someone that's supposed to be with me or someone that's supposed to go with me has turned against me for stupid reasons or whatever, then obviously, well, yeah, if they don't like me, then fair enough. That's how it should be. Although it's not a nice thing to happen, but it probably won't happen, but if it does, then if it's someone that's turned against me, then obviously, yeah. But apparently it's a bit more serious than this, that's the thing. But like I said, I didn't hear the full conversation, but I could hear for quite a distance after they passed. But it is in like a quiet area, like, you know, a track, and they were walking really sort of slow, and I was sort of came to a stop because I wanted to, I was pretending to sort things out, sorting my paper out, pen and paper. I was sort of getting ready to sort of write it down, and I went to get the digital audio recording device out, which I'm using now to try and audio record it, but unfortunately the batteries had died in it, and the time that I had to, you know, when I could do what I wanted to do, they'd already passed. And I just want to mention something else. This story is not made up. I'm actually telling the truth on this. What was said was actually said. For something like this to be said, and the the action that's being taken or could take place is rather nasty. But then again, hang on a minute. I was on the Bridport bus a couple of days ago, whenever it was. Someone actually said that then, that person's going to say, someone's, I can't remember what was said, but apparently this person's very cold. It'd be helpful if they could give more information of who it is and what person it is I'm speaking to and what the content of the information is I said, because there's no, without working out, you know, because there's quite a few people that I've spoken to. I have tried in some ways to try and ask people out and how much I like that person or whatever this year and last year, but all these, they've all turned. That's the thing, every one of those have turned, but they're on about one specific person that's turned, and I don't know who that person is. But whoever it is, this person is damn cold apparently, that one person, but it's finding out which one it is. That's the problem. No name was given. But that's the reason I wanted to do this recording in particular, because of that specific piece of information that was mentioned while I was walking down the path. And like I said, this is not made up information. But you know, I must admit, last night I was the most down I've ever felt, and obviously I ended up buying fags again. I ended up getting Jack Daniels single cans, Coke and whatever, and the time's come where I got to leave to get the bus. So yeah, not going to be doing much today. Going to go back because everyone's shit on me, and there's only two people that are speaking to me. One's Judd, but I can't guarantee she's a scammer or someone that's trying to contact me that's liked me, or whether it's just a random person trying to get money out of me, or I just don't know. And also I didn't really feel like going out today anyway, and also I've got to wait for a parcel as well, which is a t-shirt, so I've got printed a Dance Transmission Control flyer from the 2nd of the 4th 1994, and obviously I've hid some fags, so I've got about a pack of fags hid out. I've got fags hid out everywhere at the moment, so that's to try and give that smoking, you see, so I don't end up, but the problem is I keep going to a 24-hour, and I need to stop doing that because it's costing me a lot, and I'm a bit short of money. So let's see what else happens. I'll mention anything that occurs the best I can anyway. Yeah, going back to the story that I just mentioned, this person doesn't live in an apartment. When they walked past, they didn't say a flat or whatever that's going to end up in flames. They just said that it's going to be that person's house. But anyway, that's nothing to do with me, so it doesn't bother me, but it's interesting that information was mentioned. Right, so at the moment is right, so the time to get a say, that is. Right, so I get a stretch, and then there's two bikes that are turned and twisted into me. Can't talk at bus stop. Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah, something I will mention is a lot of these sexual people that I've seen today walking about, each and every one of these are in relationships. Also, all the children in relationships as well. When they're about the age of 12 up, you see them walking around with their boyfriends right in this area. I was speaking to someone that came from London who's moved here 2 months ago yesterday on the bus, and he said it's much different in London. People are much freer. They're not all mothers and all the rest of it, but this area, it takes 44.5 years to find nothing. And there's another thing I just discovered on the sheet that I've been writing stuff down on, and that's there was a Lisa Pike lookalike only, roughly about 45, It might even be her, I do not know, but she was only down the track to start with after I was eating the cheese pasty that I bought. Because of the content of the information that's been mentioned on this specific recording, although it's nothing to do with me and it's not applicable, and just information that I've been given, it's not going to be suitable for Facebook, but I will be putting it on YouTube. The reason I say this is because if something like that did happen, it could backfire at me when there's nothing to do with me. I'm just going by what information was given when I was listening to those two people walking past, having that conversation. Right, so getting off the bus, there's a load of vaping stench. Penis up bike. I'll just wait this a minute. Timed and angled. Somerset Waste Partnership. Do you understand you're supposed to be with, well, I won't say what the name is, and obviously he's just been potato head, fucked up setups. The other sheets in the pocket. Zimmer frame angled. There are a lot of father suggestions. Dozens of black and blues timed. Grey one. Potato Head fucking didn't record it. Right, so, Well Beloved Mortal 7-story projects has a bit where it sounds like it's saying, on the fallen part of the truck. What they needed to time a bike to the issue of that. Right, back home. There's a bike, up on bike to tingling at sheep bell end and rimming, tying to every sexually excited erection. But before that, there was a lookalike to my father. Also timed at a time I'm not very happy about, but this is how it's being set up at the moment.